Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again for the Paizo preview. This time around, I'm going to be sharing a look at both the Pathfinder and Starfinder releases for March 2023. That's right. These 4 releases will be in stores later on this month. So without further ado, let's dive on in, because the first item we are going to take a look at is the latest Flip-Mat for Starfinder. It is the Amusement Park, which carries an MSRP of $16.99, or you can grab it in PDF for $9.99. Right, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got the Flip-Mat. So, of course, you can use wet, dry, and permanent markers on this, as I'm struggling to get the shrink wrap off. There we go. Jeez. I've never had such trouble getting shrink wrap off of one of these Flip-Mats before. All right, let's take a look at the back here. Step right up. Hurry, 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 hurry. Come test your skills at one of the many carnival games or experience the thrills of a looping hover coaster moving at full speed. Visit one of the many concession stands to enjoy snack foods from across the galaxy. It's all here and eagerly awaiting a group of adventurers enjoying a well-earned vacation or investigating a mystery lurking beneath the park's cheerful facade. This double-sided map features a small carnival midway on one side and a small section of a much larger and cleaner theme park on the other. Starfinder Flip-Mats present ready-to-use science fantasy set pieces for the busy game master. With Starfinder Flip-Mat Amusement Park, you'll be ready for the next time your players want to unwind. All right, let's take a look. Take a peek to see what we have got. And I say this every time we take a look at a Flip-Mat for Pathfinder or Starfinder. I indicate to you that these make for excellent mats to utilize for any sort of skirmish level miniatures games. They work really, really nicely for that. So this looks like this is just a portion of that larger, cleaner amusement park. So that's what looks like we've got here. And we'll flip on over to the other side, and this is where we've got the midway. Looks like in this corner here we've got our hover coaster. Looks like we've got some shops, as well as different games of chance. You pays your money, you takes your chances. So, there you go. Give you a look at the Flip-Mat here. All right. So, there is no Pathfinder Flip-Mat this month. There is only the Starfinder Amusement Park Flip-Mat. So, keep that in mind. Next up, we are going to be taking a peek at the Starfinder deck of Endless NPCs. Yes, there is a Pathfinder deck of Endless NPCs that I took a peek at previously on the channel, and this is now the deck of Endless NPCs for Starfinder. And it carries an MSRP of $24.99, or you can grab just the PDF for $9.99. Swinging back on over to the other camera, here we've got the deck. It says, creating a new NPC every time the player characters enter a shop or chat with a local on the street can be a real challenge. But the Starfinder deck of Endless NPCs makes it as simple as drawing 4 cards from the deck. These cards combine to form a unique NPC, each with their own role, motivation, personality trait, and secret agenda. With over 100 million different combinations, you are sure to get an interesting new character every time. So let's open this up, take a peek. So we've got 110 cards. And I will get my handy dandy hobby knife here. Open these up. So we'll have a few cards that are going to tell us how do you utilize these cards. So here we got reading the cards, talking about the card front, alignment arrows, the card back, showing us a diagram of how to put these together as well. So there we have a breakdown on how to utilize these. So I was going to say, I need to flip these on over because I was going to say, we've got some artwork here. What's going on? So what you would do is you would actually draw 4 cards. Just for the heck of it, we're going to do something along these lines here. And we'll grab another one here. So what you end up doing is you're going to take the cards like so. And you're going to build the NPC. So here we have our species. It is a Vildarero. They are amphibious, 3-legged creatures with a column-like body and a crown of tactile tentacles. They have excellent spatial awareness. So as you can see there. So then we're going to have some meaty information there, accessories, little bit of a personality trait, and then we have what is their motivation at the moment that the player characters happen to experience them or encounter them. So it says thirsty. This NPC always has a drink in hand, whether an alcoholic beverage or just a favorite soft drink or bottled water. That's kind of funny. It's a clown. This NPC is a gaudily dressed circus entertainer. It's pretty wild. So you can see, very, very easy to create NPCs on the fly. I remember checking out the deck for Pathfinder, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very, very cool. So we've got 110 cards. I know I've got these mixed up now. And 4 of those cards are dedicated to how do you use these decks. So, all right, once again, that is the deck of Endless NPCs. Next up, we are going to take a look at Pathfinder Lost Omens Firebrands. This 128-page hardcover will carry an MSRP of $39.99, or you'll be able to grab the PDF for $29.99. So one thing that I am going to mention as far as taking a look at Firebrands, normally on the preview, I would just kind of quickly take a very fast look inside and then devote an episode of my live stream, The Gaming Gang Dispatch, to a far more detailed first look, because this is a new supplement for Pathfinder, which I do with all the supplements that come out. But I do want to mention this week I will be attending GaryCon, so I'm only going to have one live stream, and then by the time I get back and have another live show, this will pretty much be on the verge of coming out. So I figure what I'll do today is actually dive in and devote the sort of time that I normally would during a live stream to a relatively detailed first look. Now, of course, saying that, we're not going to look at each and every page, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in this source book. So let's take a look at the back here. Rebels with a Cause. The Firebrands are some of the more infamous adventurers across the Inner Sea, filled with braggarts and rebels alike. This book takes an in-depth look at the various members of the organization that strives to fight injustice and look good while doing it. You look marvelous. It features information on how to join the Firebrands, details on important members of the group, new options for Firebrand characters, and advice for playing campaigns focusing on rebellion or achieving fame. Let's dive on in here. So it looks like we've got 4 chapters for us to dive on into. So we're going to have an introduction. So it looks like we're starting off with some quotes from fictional characters. It says, the historic arc of the Inner Sea region is so often determined by forces that eclipse individuals. The rise and fall of deities, the escalating violence of crusades and civil wars, and the devastating appearance of mythical monsters. With all the chaos of the Age of Lost Omens, it might seem that people are losing the ability to shape their own futures. Yet the very same turmoil that sweeps over the world also forges those determined to overcome the whims of fate. When those people are in just the right moment, with just the right allegiances and supplies, they can sometimes seize control of history and push toward something previously unimaginable. They can leave legends of their own making in their wake. Across the Inner Sea, no single group fits that description better than the Firebrands. So we've got information about joining the rebellion. Looks like we've got a history here as well as a timeline of the Firebrands, talking about the Firebrands today. Their code, their fashion, looking good, or at least looking how you want, and crafting one's own image is very important to many Firebrands. It's an extension of the values of freedom, self-expression, and self-determination that all Firebrands hold, and it has become a pivotal part of the Firebrand identity. From what I have seen, it looks like a lot of the fashions are sort of kind of a mix of around 16th, 17th century France, as well as 18th century Europe and America. In fact, I've seen quite a few images. In fact, the cover image, that character is wearing a tricorn, which most people now kind of affiliate with the American Revolution. So here we have among the Firebrands, looks like we're going to have different factions. So we got different groups, notable figures. That's kind of cool. I like that artwork. That's pretty solid looking. So looks like we're going to have some important NPCs. Probably some deities and demigods is my guess as well. Because I thought I had run across somewhere there was a discussion that there were going to be some deities that the Firebrands tend to worship. There we go. There's that fashion style I was talking about. Seems as if we've got quite a bit of a kind of pirate vibe going on with this as well, which makes me wonder if we are going to see Skulls and Shackles, or is it Shackles and Skulls? I think it's Skulls and Shackles, which was that pirate-themed adventure path for first edition Pathfinder. Kind of curious if we're going to see that get the second edition treatment like we've seen with Kingmaker. Because, like I said, I had always heard that that was a really popular adventure path. Okay, so here we've got the pantheons. So we've got different deities here. And then I think, yep, looks like we are getting into the player-facing options. And once again, kind of a pirate vibe, as well as 18th century Europe vibe for our fashions there. So all classes are welcome. So it looks like you can play any class and have a Firebrand background as well. So we've got some backgrounds here. We've got some rare backgrounds. I'm going to guess we've got some new feats, magic items, magic spells, equipment. So we've got archetypes. And then we've got some new feats. Cutting flattery. Repeated entries in Firebrand bragging and flighting contests have taught you how to twist pretty words into concealed insults. When you succeed at your check to coerce a creature, the target's attitude toward you improves by 1 step to a maximum of friendly, and they don't become unfriendly 1 day later. So we've got a Firebrand celebrity here. Here we go. We've got some equipment, some artwork as well. For that equipment, it's like magic items. So we've got the new magic items there. Ah, there we go. We've got spells. The Firebrand Mage. Services. In their line of work, Firebrands often take on unsavory tasks, such as spreading rumors or lying to help others hide from oppressive forces. Among the many Firebrands who've developed an expertise in infiltration and subterfuge, some offer their services for the right price. These Firebrands can provide a number of different services, whether to support rebellions or thrill-seeking. In some cases, Firebrands themselves are in need of specialized services to aid with their causes, and knowing the right person can make all the difference in achieving their goals. So these are different services that Firebrands can supply. Then we have Firebrand efforts. I think this is probably going to be more game master facing. Yeah, it's going to talk about campaigns. Looks like some themes that you can utilize. And then different regions. Maybe these are regions that are ripe for rebellion. We've got the Mwangai Expanse. Port Peril. Galt. Other campaigns. So Numeria, Nex. The River Kingdoms. So it looks like this book is pretty well packed with info. We've got our glossary and index. And we'll probably wrap up with some ads. Well, there's our open game license. Oh, an ad for Dark Archive. All right. So that is Pathfinder Lost Omens Firebrands. And of course, I will have a review for Firebrands in the very near future. All right. The final entry we're going to be taking a look at this month is Pathfinder, the latest Adventure Path chapter, which is going to actually wrap up the Gatewalkers Adventure Path. It is Dreamers of the Nameless Spires, written by James Jacobs. And let's see what this clocks in at page-wise. Looks like we've got 92 pages. And this carries an MSRP of $26.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $19.99. All right, let's dive on in. Take a look at the back here. A dream is never just a dream. The Gatewalker's quest for answers reaches its exciting conclusion when the characters reunite with Dr. Riddleson. But the occasion turns sour when they discover sinister dealings at home. The final leg of the party's quest to unravel their memory gaps and fulfill Sakawachi's destiny takes them to the crown of the world, where ice-rimmed temples and ancient alien evils await. The Gatewalker's adventure path concludes in Dreamers of the Nameless Spires, a complete adventure for 8th to 10th level characters. I saved this for last because it is an adventure. So if you are a player who's been hanging out watching the preview and you're hoping your game master is going to run Gatewalkers, or maybe they are already in the midst of running Gatewalkers, you're going to want to tune out. Granted, I know nothing about what's going on inside this outside of a very brief synopsis from the earlier Adventure Paths chapters. But still, as we take a peek through, you're going to see things, probably ruin some surprises there. You don't want that to be taking place. So if you are a player, I would definitely recommend wrap up watching the video here. So hopefully it's just Game Masters and I left. So I have just recently uploaded my review of the second chapter of the Gatewalker's Adventure Path, and it is They Watched the Stars. So you might want to check out my review of that. And so far, I like this adventure path. And I found it to be pretty interesting. A little gonzo, a little wee bit gonzo, a little almost like kind of like science fantasy vibe, especially to the first chapter. Now, one thing I will mention is that usually in an adventure path chapter, the front and back covers have maps. But in this adventure path, we've actually had like journal entries, kind of like evidence that's going to be used against the big bad. So it looks like we've got this broken up into 3 chapters. So keep in mind, there are going to be some spoilers here, but I'm going to stay away from spoilers as much as I can as we take a peek through. So the player characters in this adventure path have experienced what's known as the missing moment. And they've all, at one point, same point in time, same date, they walked through these elven gates. And what happened after that, they have no memory of until they arrived back through these gates. So that has been pretty much the driving force behind this adventure path, is the player characters trying to find out what in the world happened. So they have met an important NPC that is accompanying them. One of the aspects of the last chapter, part 2 in Gatewalkers, I kind of dinged it a little bit because the player characters in some ways are playing kind of second fiddle to this important NPC. And although it is pointed out in the adventure, hey, you got to make sure that you're focusing on your players being the stars, not this NPC. Yeah, little tougher to pull that off. But the player characters are about to find out exactly what happened. They're going to encounter the big bad, who, spoiler alert, they thought was an ally. Now, of course, that's been pointed out to the game masters already in the adventure path, so we already know that this character is going to turn out to be the big bad or one of the big bads. So it's not a surprise to the game masters. But one thing I point out when I'm reviewing adventure paths for Pathfinder, I honestly feel that it's probably best for game masters to have all the chapters of the adventure path available to them before they start running it. And one of the reasons why is I have noticed with many adventure paths, the big bad is introduced earlier in that campaign, but their stat blocks and their detailed write-up normally doesn't show up until the final chapter. So having that information available to you actually really helps out, because not only do you have a far better understanding of the motivations of that villain, you can also foreshadow far easier when you know more about that NPC. So there's nothing like players realizing something's going on before it gets revealed. They get really excited about that. So it is possible in this adventure path that you might drop little hints that their ally may not be who they're presenting themselves or who they think they are. Right, so here we've got, looks like kind of a gazetteer about the icy realm that the player characters are going to find themselves in. And then, of course, we're going to have our adventure toolbox. So we've got some new artifacts. I assume we're going to have some new magic items. Oh, it looks like we've got a new archetype or background. I think it's an archetype. And here we've got our bestiary with some new creatures. Pretty cool artwork throughout here. Oh my gosh. The Elder thing, known by various names on various worlds, but most often as Elder Things or Old Ones, these alien creatures are interested in creating lasting works of art, architecture, and even life, such as the legendary and dreaded Shoggoth. That is awesome. Yes, from H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness. Sweet. That is very, very cool. I like that. That is awesome. At the Mountains of Madness is actually my favorite H.P. Lovecraft story. It's a novella, which really good stuff. All right, so just taking a peek through here. So, oh, looks like one of our important NPCs. And there you go. There's our big bad. All right. So that wraps up a look at Dreamers of the Nameless Spires for Pathfinder, the conclusion of the Gatewalkers campaign, that adventure path. So, of course, I will also have a review of Dreamers of the Nameless Spires in the very, very near future. All right, that wraps up my look at the 4 different releases that are coming out from Paizo this month. I should mention that there is an adventure collection for Starfinder that is supposed to be arriving this month. It is, I want to say it's the Drift Crisis Case Files. I did not receive that, so I don't know if I'm going to see it. I don't know if it's because it's outside of the Starfinder subscription, because that's kind of what the fine folks over at Paizo Inc. have set up for me. Is they've got subscriptions to Pathfinder and Starfinder to make it easier for their warehouse to know what to ship out to me. So I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it's delayed. I don't know offhand, but if you're curious why I haven't been taking a peek at it in this video, I didn't get it. So there you go. There you have it. All righty. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell. Because not only will it let you know when I upload original videos, such as this month's Paizo preview, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you aren't watching videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. Be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch the preview this month. And until I see you next time, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.